Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We will chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 16 to 20 of chapter 3. Evam pravartitam chakram.
Evam pravartitam chakram.
Nanuvartayati hayah.
Nanuvartayati hayah.
Aghayurindriya ramah.
Aghayurindriya ramah.
Mogham partha sajivati.
Mogham partha sajivati.
Yastvat maratireva syad.
Yastvat maratireva syad.
Atmatriptascha manavah.
Atmatriptascha manavah.
Atmanyeva cha santushtah.
Atmanyeva cha santushtah.
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Naiva tasya krite narthah.
Naiva tasya krite narthah.
Na krite neha kaschana.
Na krite neha kaschana.
Na chasya sarva bhuteshu.
Na chasya sarva bhuteshu.
Kaschidarthavyapashrayah.
Kaschidarthavyapashrayah.
Tasmadasaktah satatam.
Tasmadasaktah satatam.
Karyam karma samachara.
कार्यं कर्म समाचर
असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म
असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म
परमाप्नोति पूरुषः
परमाप्नोति पूरुषः
कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम्
कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम्
आस्थिता जनकादयः
आस्थिता जनकादयः
लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि
लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि
सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि
सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So last week I had given you 3 parameters. 3 parameters to assess your advancement in the spiritual path. See, there are many parameters that way. Depending upon the context of this verse, I had given you those 3 parameters. So don't think that the list is exhaustive. By no means is the list exhaustive. But the 3 parameters which were given to you, the 3 factors, will help you very much to go into the depth of this verse, verse number 17. What are those 3 factors? Number 1, happiness. Number 2, independence. And number 3, freedom. If you stretch this to the absolute level, what we call as infinite happiness, complete independence, total freedom, which they call as liberation, nirvana or moksha, then that is talking about a sthita prajna, a person who has got enlightened, who has merged with the infinite. So that infinite happiness is called Ananda, Paramananda, they say. Paramananda means total happiness or bliss. Now, why these 3 factors have been given to you is that when you start associating your mind with these 3 factors, happiness, independence and freedom, the most interesting thing is the mind will start absorbing the vibrations or the energy of these 3 factors. Your awareness about what is happening to you will also increase. If you really think about it, these are 3 things which you are seeking in each and every aspect of your life. See, for example, if you are going behind money. Now, why is it that you're going behind money? Number 1, you genuinely feel that it will give you happiness. We are not discussing whether that is right or wrong or what kind of happiness it gives, temporary or permanent. Let's forget all that for a moment. Basically, why are you seeking money? Because you feel it will give you happiness, number one. Now you may say, no, sir, I know there is no happiness in money. See, all that is at the verbal level. We are not talking about how you intellectualize things. What is that which your mind is feeling from deep within? That's all we are discussing. We are not saying that is right or wrong here. Just a factual, objective analysis is being made. Because the moment we say you're thinking happiness is there in money, now all your defenses will become alert. No, sir, I don't think. We are talking about the human psychology. The significance of the word manavaha is one who has mind. Mind means psyche. Mano tattva, they called it. Our yogis called it mano tattva, the study of the mind, the wisdom of the mind. Psychology is an aspect of mano tattva. So you should understand your own psychology. You should study your own psyche, your own mind first, from its roots, not merely at the superficial level. So deep within, whatever it is that you're seeking, you will find these three factors will be behind it. So if you're seeking money, first thing is deep within you feel money will give you happiness. Number two, you will also feel, that is, your mind feels that money will give you independence. In that area, it will give you financial independence. Yes, I don't need to be dependent on anyone else. For money. If that independence factor was not there, then your pursuit will become fruitless. So this is the second aspect. The third aspect is that you strongly feel that if I get money, I will get financial freedom. So I will get financial happiness, I will get financial independence, and number three, that will make me free financially. Even all this analysis about growing the money, investing, everything is directed towards financial freedom only. So even if I don't do anything, I should have enough amount which will take care of all my expenses and all that. That's how one thinks. So these three factors play a crucial role in building the desire for money. I want you to understand this. It is not only money. You take any desire which you have. These three factors will be playing a major role in shaping the desire and getting you into that dynamic action mode for you to fulfill the desire. If you are forming a relationship with someone, that's because you feel that relationship will give you happiness, emotional happiness. You feel that relationship will give you emotional independence, and that relationship will give you that emotional freedom. Whether you actually get it or not, that is a different matter. But this is what you think. This is what you feel. If I get a child, now the child will give me happiness. It will give that independence, that freedom. Now you may say, no sir, once I get a child, now all my freedom is gone. Some people may say that. Now that is later only. Actually, we are not talking about external freedom here. See, the moment we talk of relationship, we are talking about the mind growing and becoming free. Because that joy which a child gives cannot be substituted by anything for a mother or father. The independence, the emotional independence which you get as a parent because you are in a position of giving emotions, that is something which is so wonderful. See, first of all, you don't even have this basic clarity that these are the three factors which are ruling or conditioning your desires. Therefore, when you get into a relationship, instead of getting happiness, you get more sorrow, even at a relative level. Instead of becoming more independent, you become more dependent. Instead of getting freedom, you get bound. What are those qualities which you should develop in the world which will give you these three things? What are the things which you need to follow which will give you happiness, independence and freedom? You should start thinking on those lines. See, the understanding of these three factors, these three criteria will help you to actually get into the depth of this verse, because the extreme extension of these three factors only have been covered when he says Atma Ratihi, Atma Truptaha, Atmanyeva Santushtaha. So today, when you are pursuing the world, whether it's wealth or whether it is relationships, whether it is career, your work, wealth means money, or you're buying a house, whatever it is that you're doing, you should have that clarity. When will that desire be fruitful to you? Just because you have a desire for money and you get money doesn't mean that will be a fulfilling experience for you. When you don't even know why you're wanting it, what is it that you're wanting through money? We are not talking at the absolute level and saying absolute happiness. No, we are only talking first from the relative level. Then we'll shift gears and move to the absolute level. To talk from the absolute level is so simple for me also. It just comes naturally because that is the highest state. So when you're merged with the infinite, the absolute wisdom is very simple. But the relative wisdom is what will help you in practical living. So when it comes to pursuing your goals, see, the difference between a desire and a goal is that a desire is something which you want. Now, when you give it a structure, proper structure consciously, and when you apply your will and say, this is what I want in a conscious way, then that becomes a goal. Now, when you are pursuing your goal, when you're looking for goal manifestation, you should be clear about what you want from that goal. You want these three things only in that area. So, the moment you understand that happiness, independence and freedom are three very important factors which govern your desires, which govern all your pursuits in life, then you will not be satisfied with merely fulfilling a desire. That is not enough. If you merely get a house, let's say you um, build a beautiful home. Now, is it enough? You will be sitting in that home, but your mind will be tormented, highly stressed. What is the use of that? Merely getting money, is that enough? You will not know how to use it also. People who have a lot of wealth become very highly stressed because they have not studied their own psyche. This is a great opportunity for you to explore your own mind, to understand what is it that you're seeking, why you're seeking that, and how do you bring about these factors which will give a basic fulfillment when you fulfill a desire. After that comes the absolute level that anyway we'll be seeing. Sir, I want to get married, I want to get married. Is it enough if you merely get married? The marriage is supposed to enrich your life, but without an understanding when you get married, what happens is the same marriage becomes a source of stress. You see, you go and ask a person who does not have wealth, are you really happy? Person will say no. Why? Because I don't have wealth. You go and ask a person who has a lot of wealth, are you happy? The person will say the same thing. Why aren't you happy? Because of wealth. The wealth which he pursued has now become a source of stress. You go and ask a person who is not yet married, are you happy? The person will say, no, I have not yet found a good partner. But after he or she finds a partner of his choice, I am giving a very nice picture. Then after a few months, few years, you ask that person, are you happy? No. Why? Because of my partner. Why is that? The same relationship has now become a source of sorrow. Same thing with children also. When you don't have a child, oh, I don't have a child, there is a social stigma, this, that. So when you get a child, so much of stress. Oh, I have to bring up the baby, as if the baby will not grow on its own. Because of the wrong approach, because of the lack of clarity, now the same child becomes a source of stress. So in every area of your life, you have many desires that nobody needs to teach you. You just go on developing desires without even knowing what is the purpose of that. But when you fulfill those desires, it is not a satisfying experience for you in the long run, because there is no clarity. So this wisdom equips you with that mental clarity to understand what is happening to you and to add value to each and every experience of your life. So every desire of yours is governed by these three factors: happiness, independence, and freedom. And today, because you lack this clarity, Every desire which you're fulfilling, it gives rise to more stress instead of happiness, more dependence, and more bondage instead of freedom. Just the opposite is happening. When your desires are governed by stress, dependence, and bondage, whatever activity you take up in life will become a burden for you. It will be a luggage which you're carrying, a lot of weight on your shoulders. Life will wear you down. But when your desires are governed by these three principles, happiness, independence, and freedom, now whatever activity which you will take up will no longer be a burden for you. It will become a responsibility. There is a big difference between burden and responsibility. Taking up more responsibilities in life is karma yoga. But when the same responsibilities become a burden for you, then that is not karma yoga. This chapter is entitled Karma Yoga. Remember, you should not forget the context. So today in life, are you feeling the burden? When you start a family, it becomes a burden. When you get a partner, it becomes a burden. When you take up a job, it becomes a burden. When you want to do a business, it becomes a burden. When you want to earn more money, it becomes a burden. Why all that? Even simple good habits like doing some exercise, it becomes a burden today. Eating the right type of food, very big burden. Taking care of your health, the physical health, that's a big burden today. Oh, I have to take care of my health. Every aspect of your life has become burdensome. Whereas for a yogi, everything in life is not a burden, it is a responsibility. The physical health becomes a beautiful responsibility. He happily takes care of his body. If a yogi gets into a relationship, it's a responsibility. Responsibility to give unconditional love, to make the other person happy and also become happy within, from within. A yogi is already in a state of happiness. If a yogi takes up a work, it is a beautiful responsibility. If you feel it as a burden, it will cause a lot of stress, turbulence in your mind. If it's a responsibility, it will give you so much of power. That is what is demonstrated by Lord Krishna when he took up the role of being a charioteer to Arjuna. It was the most difficult job because Arjuna was the number one archer. He was a great warrior. To be his charioteer means sitting in front of him. So every arrow which the opponents aim at Arjuna will first attack Krishna. It'll have to pass Krishna, then only it will go to Arjuna. So just for a split second, if Arjuna is not alert or anything, and he doesn't stop those arrows midway, Krishna will face a lot of issues. It's what in the modern corporate language they call as a high voltage job. They say, high voltage work, which Krishna took up. But it was not a burden for him. It was a responsibility. The responsibility of making the Pandavas win that war, to the responsibility to establish righteousness. So today, even a little bit of work which you take, that becomes a burden. Whereas, as you do your sadhana and you grow spiritually, you will not see life as a burden. You will see life as a wonderful responsibility. So ask yourself, what are the factors governing my experiences in life? These three factors: happiness, independence, freedom. Am I having that? You will immediately start blaming the other person or circumstances. I want to be free, but it's because of the other person that I am not free. See, stop this blame game and take up the responsibility for your own life. Oh, my health is down because of this, because of that, all the factors you give. What about the principles which you are following? Are you following the Kaya Tattva principles? You hardly even 10% you will be following. So, when you start thinking on these lines, it will give you tremendous clarity, not only about what you're seeking, how to get the maximum out of whatever you're seeking. You're seeking the world, but that is not enough. If you get certain aspects of the world which you want, you need to get the maximum out of the world. It's like you're buying the latest computer. You need to know to utilize the computer to its maximum level. Only then there is a meaning, in that investment. Even the Yoga Sankirtan materials, the sadhana materials have been given to you, the empowerment sadhana materials have been given to you. It is not enough if you merely just get them and you're mechanically doing that every day. It's better than not doing. That step has been crossed over. But it's not about mechanically just putting those materials and just doing. No. You should start thinking on these lines, how to get the maximum from this material. The moment you bring that intention, you will be amazed, because these same Sunday sessions will start giving you so many messages. You may ask me, sir, earlier were those messages there? All messages are there for you to grow, but you don't pick those messages. It is when you get into a right mindset that you will start picking those messages. Those subtle tips which are given here and there will help you to maximize your sadhana experience. Just as, supposing you want to buy a particular model, a particular brand of car, the particular model, suddenly wherever you go, you will start finding that someone is driving that car. Earlier also they were driving, but you wouldn't have noticed it. Now when you bring that intention, you will start noticing it. So when you bring that intention of transforming your life, when you are attending these sessions, You will start noticing not one tip, not two tips. Hundreds and thousands of tips are being given to you. The tools with which you can transform your life. But without that intention, you may be attending every Sunday, but your experience here is one thing, your life will be going in some other direction. You will never get attuned to the higher frequency, to the master. So, these three factors, happiness, independence, freedom, they have to be understood if you want to change or improve the quality of your life. So ask yourself, I'm saying in general, how happy am I? Is my mind really happy? How independent am I? How free is my mind? Today you are a slave to your own mind. When you're caught up with something, it's very difficult to understand that slavery. Your mind does not leave you free even for a single moment. It is only a yogi who has learned the art of mastering his or her own mind who becomes a free person. Today, your mind is tormenting you. You may have the best of things in the world, but yet amidst them, you are highly stressed. It's all happening within you. I want you to first become aware of this, because that is the exact energy pattern which we are going to change. And when the energy pattern changes towards the divine 100%, then this verse is applicable. One who delights in the self alone, satisfied by the self, extremely content only in the self. It is only a description of that energy pattern completely changing from within. So to understand this externally is one thing, but to gain this wisdom as a sadhana is something totally different. That is the yogic approach. So, what is he saying here? He uses three words, ratihi, triptaha and santushtaha. You should make a note of all these three words because they are very key words in this verse. Ratihi, triptaha and santushtaha. And what is most interesting is, one word is common to all these three, that is atman, self. So if you see the dictionary meaning of these three words, they will all be so similar. Ratihi means being pleased, delighted. Triptaha means again being delighted, pleased, satisfied. Santushtaha also means again satisfaction, contentment. They all look so similar, but we will be exploring it in depth and seeing the sadhana relevance of these. It's going to be an amazing experience, just understanding these things in depth. Then when you start practicing them in your life, there's no words to express that, So you should not forget this. One is ratihi, triptaha, santushtaha. We'll be seeing that in detail. But the common factor which is binding all these three is atman. Atma ratihi, atma triptaha, atmani santushtaha. That word atman is common, self. The focus is on the higher self. So in general, ratihi, triptaha, santushtaha, they are reflections of the three factors which I explained to you. That is happiness, independence and freedom. But instead of being directed outward, directed towards the world, that is directed outside, they are directed towards the higher self, Atman. The direction of the chakra is very important. I told you, in which direction is the chakra going to move? The wheel. It's not enough if you merely set the wheel in motion. It has to move in the direction which you want. That is so important. So, the direction of ratihi, triptaha and santushtaha, in general terms you can say happiness, or that is happiness, independence, freedom put together, Now, what is the direction? The direction is Atman. It is set by the word Atman, which represents the higher self. So, whenever we are talking about the consciousness or the higher self from the point of view of an individual, we generally use the word Atman. When we are talking about the same consciousness, that infinite supreme reality, with reference to the macrocosmic world, we use the word Brahman. Essentially, there is no difference between Atman and Brahman. That is why I told you, the great Mahavakya. I am Atma Brahma. This Atman is nothing but Brahman. Because many sadhaks have this question. So, what is the difference between Atman and Brahman? Essentially, there is no difference. But usage wise, when we refer to the same infinite supreme reality with reference to the individual, we say Atman. Self-realization. Atma Vidya. Self-knowledge, self-wisdom, self-experience. When we talk about the infinite supreme reality with respect to the totality, the macrocosm, then we say Brahman. We call it Brahma Vidya. So, Atma Vidya and Brahma Vidya are one and the same. The context is only different. With reference to what are you trying to understand this? So, in other words, there is nothing like individual soul, total soul and all that. Even though we may use those words, in the real sense of the term, there is no difference. And that is why the great master said, Tattvam Asi, that thou art. That means that infinite reality as Brahman. Thou means the same infinite reality as Atman. That thou art. That you are. So whether you go deep within you, within yourself, or whether you go deep outside you into the universe, you will only reach the same infinite. There it is, where we call it Brahman, here we call it Atman. The difference is only in the names. You may ask me, why should I now go, then why not I go out? That's not possible. The only way to contact the infinite is to go deep, deep within in meditation. And that is why the one great Tamil Siddhar, he said, Andatil ullade pindatil. What is there in the Brahmanda, Andam means Brahmanda, is there in Pinda. Pinda means this personality, this body, when you go deep within. Andatil ullade pindatil, pindatil ullade andatil. What is there here is what is there in the cosmos also. Brahman is only there here as Atman. Atman is there as Brahman. These are the great truths which our yogis have given us. So when you go deep within in meditation, when you gain complete mastery over your mind, and when you merge with the Atman which is there within you, instantly you will merge with that universal consciousness. And that is why we say spiritual growth is the greatest service you can do to the world. If you want to really help the world, you should grow spiritually. Growing spiritually means merging with that Atman within. Instantly, you are attaining that Brahma Vidya, and you will start radiating that infinite energy to the whole world. So why is it that the great yogis are respected, revered so much? Why? Why do we say they are so selfless? What is it that they have done? Some people ask, that simply sitting in one room and doing sadhana, isn't that a waste of time? Instead, he can help a few people. No. By doing the sadhana and merging with the Atman, which means Brahman, that person is going to the source of the whole universe. So the capacity to serve naturally becomes infinite. He becomes like a banyan tree which gives shade to everyone. So Atma Ratihi, Atma Triptaha, Atmani Santushtaha. Atmani eva Santushtaha. I'm here in this context, I'm combining Atman and the Santushtaha. So Atmani Santushtaha. So you need to understand this in totality. So Atmaratihi means delighting in the higher self. Atmatriptaha means complete satisfaction, satisfied by the self. Atmani Santushtaha means extremely content. Tushtaha itself means content, being content. Santushtaha means extreme contentment. So that person is extremely content in what? Atmani, in the self. Atmani eva, in this, only in the self. So the pleasure, the happiness, everything which is deriving is from a higher level. United with that Atman, which is Brahman, he experiences everything in life. And those experiences is giving it in three ways: Ratihi, Triptaha and Santushtaha. See how beautifully he has constructed this verse, when you use the yogic approach and you start exploring it in the right way, now that will start giving you that will start giving you these three factors: the happiness, independence, and freedom. Your vibrations will start attuning to the vibrations of these three factors. So what is the first thing he says? One who delights in the self. Now we'll go one by one. Atma ratihi. It's a beautiful construction. So the first thing is, when a yogi contacts the world, how will he approach the world? See, the world means there are going to be ups and downs. Sometimes there will be joy, sometimes there will be sorrow. Sometimes there will be pleasure, sometimes there will be pain. Externally, I am saying. Sometimes there will be success, sometimes there would be failures. Different kinds of experiences, the ups and downs of life are there. Now, when a yogi contacts the world, when he goes through the various ups and downs of life, what is his inner state? Atma ratihi. He always delights in the higher self. The word ratihi is usually used to denote the pleasure or happiness when you are contacting the world. See, he is taking this in a very logical way. So, if you just flow with the energy, it will be very beneficial for you. So, he starts off with ratihi, because ratihi is the word used to denote the pleasure which you get when you contact the world. So, the moment he says Atma ratihi, you should understand the context. When he is in the world, when he is contacting the world means both pairs of opposites. That is, there could be a joyous experience or a sorrowful experience. It could be a peaceful environment or an environment where there is a lot of strife. Like Lord Krishna, he was in the battlefield. Whether Krishna was in his palace or whether he was in the battlefield, what was his state? Atma ratihi. Of course, Krishna being an avatar, naturally he'll be in the state only. But what is interesting is, you have the potential to get into this state, this level of consciousness. So today, when you are contacting the world, you are thrown into the extremes. I'm talking of your mind. When it is a pleasurable experience, you are jumping with joy, excitement, we can say. When it is an unpleasurable experience, now it causes so much of sorrow. There you are so excited, now you become depressed. One moment you say, oh, this is the best spouse I have. Next day you say the worst spouse I have. You are constantly thrown into extremes. Extreme excitement and then extreme depression. you should start observing your own mind. Whenever something is going on fine around you, now your mind is in this extreme. When something goes wrong, immediately it goes to the other extreme. Your mind is constantly fluctuating according to the fluctuations of the world. You are not in control. The world is controlling you today. The external circumstances are dictating terms to you, whether you need to be happy or not. When I say happy, happiness, independence and freedom. Remember that. See, all these three, Ratihi, Triptaha and Santushtaha, all of them, they are covering these three factors: happiness, independence and freedom. So today you are happy when something good happens externally. You become unhappy when something negative happens externally. Your happiness factor is determined by the world. But for a yogi, he is in a state of atma ratihi. Irrespective of what is happening outside, he experiences that. It's not that now, he doesn't experience anything. If he doesn't experience anything, then that's living a life like a stone. No. He goes through all the ups and downs of life, but he does not allow that to affect his internal state of happiness. Why? Because that he is deriving from atman, atma ratihi. Atma ratihi means that happiness which he is deriving from atman when he is contacting the world. See, what an amazing way of putting it, So today, one moment you're excited, one moment you're down. That is what causes so much of stress. Imagine, supposing you have a child in front of you. One moment you're angry. Next moment you're smiling. Next, the third minute you're again angry. Fourth minute again you smile. Now, if the child is constantly exposed to that, what will happen? Definitely the child become psychologically affected, isn't it? Same thing is happening to your own mind. Your mind is like a child only. The varied experiences of life completely wear down the mind. So, number one, happiness. Number two, independence. When you contact the world today, you lose all your independence. You become dependent on the world for your happiness. I cannot live without this. I cannot live without that. Whereas, what is the state of a yogi? When he is contacting the world, he or she maintains the independence. He contacts the world not with a dependent approach. So you can relate to a person in two ways. You can relate to a person with complete dependence. Oh, only if that person smiles or if that person talks in a sweet way, I'll be happy. Then you'll never be happy because that is not under your control. And by chance, one day, even if that person smiles, you are so stressed, you will not notice it, or you will interpret it in your own way only. A yogi functions in the world so beautifully, but he is dependent not on the world, on the atman, the infinite, the brahman, the supreme consciousness. So this is the second aspect, independence. See, that's why I covered that basic structure for you, the three factors. Then it becomes easy for you to understand this. Then the third factor, freedom. Atma ratihi means a yogi, when he is functioning in the world, he is so free. Today, when you are contacting the world, you lose your freedom. You're using your cell phone. You're so bound by the cell phone. One day, if there is no cell phone, means you'll get so disturbed. You may say, sir, is it wrong to use cell phone? No. We are only talking of that bondage. So many things you acquire in the world, and then you become completely bound. When you are bound, it is a life of slavishness. Whereas a yogi is in a state of absolute freedom. When you sit on a chair, you should have the freedom to get up and walk away when it's required, when it's required, when it's necessary. But supposing you're tied to the chair, the same experience, only you're sitting on the chair, but now you're bound. When you are contacting the world, actually you have tied yourself to every experience. Whereas a yogi is also contacting the same world. He goes through all the ups and downs of life. But with one big difference, he doesn't tie himself down. He uses the world, but he is always free. Whenever you are tied mentally, when you lead a slavish life, that will cause so much of stress. It will cause a lot of insecurity, fear. A yogi has no insecurity. Why? Because he has absolute mental freedom. And it is because Lord Krishna was experiencing that freedom that he was in a position to say in the 18th chapter, Yatha ichasi tata kuru Arjuna. I have said all that I have to say. Now, Yatha ichasi tata kuru means now do whatever you think is right, whatever you want. How is he able to say that? How was he so detached? Because he was a free person. Krishna was not dependent on Arjuna. With just a wink of his eye, he could have achieved, he could have established the righteousness. That is the supreme state of a yogi. Atma ratihi. I want you to appreciate first this, admire, get into a state of admiration. Admiration of that state of, being atmaratihi, being in that state of completely delighting in the self alone. Alone, eva, it's very important. That is, delighting in the self alone, not in any other factor. See, if this is misunderstood, you will take it as that person is not enjoying life. No, it is a yogi who can enjoy life. When you are thrown to the extremes, where is the question of enjoyment? You will be tormented. When your mind is stressed, you cannot enjoy anything in life. So you give a lot of wealth to a yogi, he will enjoy that wealth. He will go through that experience so beautifully, but he will not go gaga over that. He doesn't have that extra value. Now, supposing you take away all the wealth away from a yogi, he will again be in a state of enjoyment. Why? Because he is in a state of atman. He is deriving that enjoyment from the higher self. So many people have this fear, sir, if I get into spirituality, now will I be able to contact the world? It actually helps you to contact the world with more strength, with more happiness, with more independence, with more freedom. It makes you more strong. When you are relating to your partner, if you are weak, you will only be complaining all the time. Oh, you are doing this. Oh, you are doing this. It's an endless thing. You are the infinite. Why can't you take the position of a giver? It is only changing that internal position of being from, moving from being a beggar who's begging for happiness, for independence and freedom from the world, to becoming a king or a queen, that is deriving the same happiness, independence and freedom from the higher self which is there within you. It is a shift, internal shift. Externally everything will be the same. Because some people think in a very funny way, they think, oh, if a person gets enlightened, now he will start wearing a different dress. He will start growing a beard. So many people have these funny concepts. Yogi means you think like that only, no? A particular dress that person has to wear, particular color only. Because the speaker is wearing this white dress, okay. When they say, I can accept him as a yogi. Supposing he comes in a colorful dress, no, he cannot become a yogi. He cannot be a yogi. See, the mind is so foolishly conditioned by such limited thoughts and beliefs. You have to come out of all that. Spirituality cannot be determined by external factors. Today, who is considered a great guru? A person who has a lot of following. That way, Upanishadic masters you will not consider as a guru because they had no following. Followers don't make a guru great. See, who is a truly spiritual person? He should be in that state of atmaratihi. Whether he is with company or without company, he is always reveling in that self, delighting in the self alone. And when such a person who is delighting in the self contacts the world, what will he be spreading? He'll be spreading that energy of happiness. He'll make everyone around him happy. Number one. He'll make everyone around him independent. A false guru will make the students dependent. But a true master will encourage the students to do sadhana. He will provide with various conducive things so that the person can do sadhana and become independent. A false master will say, no, 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 no. You simply just surrender. I will do the rest. You don't need to do anything. Why? Because there will be an insecurity. If the student becomes independent, now what will happen to me? I will lose one student. Even to think of that is so absurd. A true master will work towards the freedom of the student. See, being devoted is one thing. Having the respect and reverence for the Guru is one thing. But being a slave is something else. A master will encourage creativity, will encourage originality. He will not want to make the students exactly like him. You see, generally the mind has a tendency to copy. Whatever the master does, immediately the followers will try to do the same thing, same kind of dress, the same kind of behavior. That is not true spirituality. A master is one who promotes happiness. He wants the students to become so happy. Then he promotes independence. He wants the students to do sadhana and become independent. Take all the wisdom, take all the help. He's always ready to help. That is a different matter. He's always there to protect. But the student has to be independent, and he promotes freedom. Why? Because he experiences all these three. Atmaratihi means completely happy in the self. Atmaratihi means complete independence from the world because he is dependent on the self. The self means here that infinite supreme reality. Atmaratihi means complete freedom from the world. Why? Because he is bound to his own higher self. So when he is contacting the world, he experiences the self in totality. He experiences the world in this background. So since he experiences these three factors within him, when he is contacting the world, what is he going to keep telling his students? You should become happy. You should become independent. You should become free. That is the energy which he'll be giving. The mind just wants temporary emotional security, external security, I'm saying. A master may provide it, but only to encourage the student to do sadhana. A true master will encourage the students, will inspire the students to do sadhana on a daily basis. Because without sadhana, you cannot get transformed. Okay? So this is the state of Atmaratihi. In the next session, we will go into more depth. What exactly does Ratihi mean? What are the different dimensions? It's going to be very interesting also. Ratihi, Tripti and Tushti. Here he uses Triptaha and Tushtaha as adjectives, but the Shakti behind that is what we are seeing. So it's going to be a beautiful journey, what he's explaining here. Okay, So now before we do the Nididhyasana meditation, I will take up one or two questions depending on the time. Respected Yogishri, humble pranams. I have been trying to release the negative emotions by sitting down, connecting with Guru Shakti and taking deep breaths. But still those thoughts come and cycle and don't go away. And mind becomes more self-aware and disturbed rather than letting it go. Can you kindly guide what I am doing wrong while releasing those thoughts and how I can improve on the same? With utmost gratitude. This is a very practical question which she has asked. The first thing is you are not doing anything wrong, you are doing it in the right way. We just have to increase the depth of it, that's all. So when the negative thoughts, negative emotions come, this is what has been suggested. Whenever you get some spare time, find some time, sit for a few minutes to connect to the Guru Shakti, do the deep breathing. Then you will find that gets released. But the interesting thing which you're saying is, it keeps repeating. The disturbances of the mind keep coming back again and again like a cycle. Now you need to understand why that is happening. It is not something wrong. It is bound to happen that way. I'll tell you why. That's why the understanding of the principle of chakra will be very useful. It's easy for me to explain to you. I told you, karma is also operating as a wheel, as a chakra. We call it the karma chakra. So the karmas within you, they manifest as thoughts, they come as certain emotions, and then into the action level, physical actions or external circumstances. So if there is a disturbing emotion, it is because of a corresponding karma. Now when you're doing this deep breathing method, what happens is you're releasing that portion of the emotion which has manifested from the total karmas. But just because you have released this small portion doesn't mean now the entire stock of karmas related to those emotions have got released. The next set will manifest, again you release them. Next set will manifest, again you release them. Over a period of time, once the karmic stock is exhausted, then the emotions will never come again. I'm talking of those disturbing emotions, those negative emotions. This is a long process actually. That is why we are having daily sadhana, the Yoga Sankirtan material, other empowerment materials which have been given to you. They help you to speed up this process of pulling the karma down to the thought and emotional level, and you release it with more, the quantity of that increases, the quantity of release during the sadhana time. This thing which I told you was throughout the day. Whenever something really disturbs you, you can practice this. But most important is the daily sadhana with the sadhana material. Why with the sadhana material? You can release things without the sadhana material also. But you should be frank with yourself. Are you at that level to do that? Are you really in a position to handle that higher energy? That's why the protection of a guru or the protection of the Guru Shakti helps. And then in the empowerment programs, the direct attack is made on the karmic stock. So when you go through the empowerment programs, the Guru gives you not merely the theory or wisdom. The main thing there is a transfer of energy to attack the karmas. So you're doing the right thing. But the cycle is coming, the karmic cycle is getting repeated because the stock is still there. See, supposing your tank is full of water and you're opening the tap for 1 minute, little bit of water which is there in the pipe comes out. Then you close off the tap. But the tank is still full of water. As long as the water is there in the tank, every time you open the tap, some water will come down. Sir, I opened the tap once and I closed it. Still the water flows whenever I open, naturally. Once the tank is emptied, you keep the tap open also, no water will flow. Similarly, your karmic tank is full of those impressions. So it will keep manifesting. Your mind is like a tap only. That is why our yogis compared the karmas to an onion. Peels, one peel is removed, next peel is there. You remove that, next peel is there. It goes in terms of concentric circles. So your disturbance, see, you're saying the mind becomes more self-aware and disturbed. The disturbance is because you're not understanding this karmic cycle, karmic karma chakra. You're having unreasonable expectations. See, so many issues. If I just do one breathing now, everything should go, I should become realized. I'm only exaggerating and pulling your leg, but the point is, when you have such high expectations, unreasonable expectations, then the mind will get disturbed. But if you are mature, if you have this right wisdom, you understand this is a process. The karma chakra is going on. Now we are introducing the sadhana chakra there, and it will slowly, start working and empty the whole stock. Then there will be no issue. So every time that happens, there is nothing to get excited about. There is nothing to feel depressed or stressed. It means that karmic stock is there. That's all. Keep doing the sadhana. Okay, so you're doing the right thing. Just that drop off your expectations. Actually, if you drop the anxiety to release, the release will happen faster. Oh, I have to release. Some people, the moment they come to an empowerment or any session, I have to more release. Now that causes so much of stress. The whole idea is to relax. See, you're doing the sadhana. Now be relaxed. Let whatever happens, happen. That is what it means. I do my best and I surrender everything to the divine will. Okay. So now we'll do Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I'm becoming more and more relaxed. feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I'm going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond my physical body, beyond my emotions, beyond my thoughts, lies my higher self, Atman. My higher self, Atman, is that infinite supreme reality, Brahman. I am Atma, Brahma. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. And cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. We had a very inspiring session today, extremely deep. I am Atma Brahma. This Atman is that supreme Brahman. In the future empowerments, more energy will be given to you. More yogic secrets will be revealed to you. And your sadhana is bound to become more and more refined. See this session as many times as you want. Let these truths go deep within you. Okay? I'll see you in the next session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.